If you remember hearing Terry McGovern on KDKA, you were listening between 1965 and 69. He describes himself as a Pittsburgh boy who grew up listening to the station.
Let me tell you, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Mercy Hospital, grew up in Mount Washington, and spent my life, in the early days listening to Reach Cordick in the morning and just loving KDKA as everybody did in those days because, quite frankly, it was a terrific radio station and there wasn't much competition.
Then he got an amazing break.
But here I am, a 20-year-old kid at Duquesne University, and I get auditioned for KDKA, and lo and behold, land the all-night show. And this began what has to be one of the luckiest careers in broadcasting that I've ever heard of.
He says he got moved around and did a daytime shift, then afternoon drive.
In those days, there were stations called MOR, which meant middle of the road, and they were personality-driven music stations. So basically, the disc jockeys were also programmers. We got on, we talked about music, we interviewed guests, and we played lots and lots of popular music. And in the days I was there, 65 through 69, really was just a fantastic array of talent, if I may be modest enough to say that. We had Clark Race in the afternoons, we had Reed in the morning, and just wonderful guys. And I'm this kid from Duquesne Heights who just, I was overwhelmed by it. It was one of the best periods of my life.
Terry left KDK in 1969 and headed to San Francisco, where he worked at a couple more radio stations.
And then about mid-'70s, late '70s, I moved to Los Angeles, devoted all my time to acting, came back briefly in the late '80s to raise my boys and be what I call home now, San Francisco. And I worked on radio and TV, and then retired from broadcasting about 15 years ago. And now I work out of my studio at home, doing voices for commercials, lots of video games, and I teach an acting class. I have my own acting group. And so I'm a very contented old guy who still feels like he's about 20 years old.
Terry says he sometimes thinks his luck exceeded his talent, but he's grateful, especially for his start here. Barbara Boylan, News Radio 1020, KDKA.